Okay, let's talk about how I can help you. Some people have been wanting step-by-step explanations for things, something very clearly defined, something simple, aka some people want their hand held throughout these processes and stuff, depending on what they're trying to achieve. Okay, I think I found the easiest way to get that done for you and to satisfy some of your needs. All right, so just simply put, me and my team, depending on what you need, you might get a call with me, you might get a call with someone else, but it's most likely being me, at least to start it off or to open it up. Depending on if you need somebody who's a specialist in a certain kind of thing, I might refer you to somebody else. But most of the time, it's going to be something where it's going to be either me talking to you or my wife talking to you. And that's just simply because we have most of the information that most people would need. So knowing that, first of all, we need to know, what do you want to achieve? Because some people, they approach me, they might send me a message or something like that, and they don't even necessarily know exactly what their options are with what it is that they want to accomplish when it comes to like status correction, for example, or being on the private side, private banking, tribal stuff, etc. They might have heard something about a 1099A and taking care of expenses that way or something like that. But one thing that I'm definitely good for is having a conversation with people and giving them a sense of clarity when it comes to like what it is that your options are and what you might want to accomplish. So there are going to definitely be a lot of options because there's a lot of ways to achieve remedy and or achieve some sort of sense of power when it comes to what it is that you might want to achieve and, should I say, establish about what status you're in. So I'm definitely the person to talk to when you have a little bit of confusion and you just need some clarity on like, hey, what can I do or what might I should do? I can't necessarily tell you what you should do, but I could give advice, of course, and say what I might do if I was in your situation. So yeah, that's definitely one of the things. So just a list of some of the things that we definitely can help you with when it comes to authenticating a birth certificate, right? Definitely that. Anything that has to do with status correction, anything that has to do with your mindset and actually knowing who you are and the role that you're supposed to be playing in these different games, whether it's the spiritual side of things or the public versus private type of stuff, who you are in the public eye, who you are on the private side, and the role that you're supposed to be playing. If you needed to know how to establish your trust or how to get foreign identification numbers or anything that has to do with anything on the private side when it comes to making sure that your family is set up right, and the tribal type of stuff. So if you need tribal IDs and you want to be able to navigate the globe of as freely as possible without being inhibited or being able to be detained or stopped or anything like that, I can help you with all of that stuff. If you needed any type of advice on how you can discharge debts, private banking, where to look for the information, if you needed to know what I know of that some people have done, maybe even some things that I've done myself. I don't really like talking too much about what I have going on the private side because, I mean, come on now, that's the point of being on the private side. It's private. So, you know, there's that. And but let me just go back and mention, bro, when it comes to the mindset thing, don't think that might come naturally. It should, but there's a lot of people who don't even realize just who they are and what it is that they're supposed to be doing here and what they're obligated to do and what they're entitled to and all that type of stuff. So it really is important to have your mindset right before you go on this journey. But like I said, that's definitely something I could help explain to you if you really needed to have more clarity on that. So what else can we help you with? If you needed to know anything about the travel type of things, right to travel, any specific laws that might benefit you, if you needed some sort of paperwork, some type of documentation, if you needed some notes on a certain subject, if you needed to know what ways to endorse certain type of coupons, creating securities, of course that's private banking, any type of like stamps that you might need to purchase, or how the post office system could work to your benefit, comprehending what a registered security is and why it's so powerful, anything that has to do with that. The truth about your birth certificate and how you can use those things to your advantage, how you can benefit from basically going down the path of getting to know the deeper side of things for sure. Now, there are some ways to basically get things done on the easier side of like just basically spending more money and having less knowledge and just getting it done as quickly as possible. Then there's the side of getting the knowledge, and then of course there's something in between. Now, I highly recommend you actually know what you're doing before you just start just basically just trying stuff, because a lot of people might end up committing fraud when they're trying to do something that they think they know, but they don't have enough information about what they're doing. Because the biggest thing in this is whenever you're navigating in the public, you have to make sure that you know how to prove whatever it is that you're saying. Because there's one thing to just walk around and say, oh yeah, I'm this and that, but no, you have to be able to prove it. You have to be able to show proof, documentation. You got to be diligent. You got to be willing to push paperwork. You got to be willing to go to the post office and send some letters sometimes, and you got to be willing to invest, like time wise and cash wise. You got to be willing to invest, especially because this is so powerful and it's so important. So of course, naturally, any of the information that we have to offer, we're going to ask for a donation in return, as of course, I mean, it has got value and it's supposed to be an exchange of value, because that's the least that we could get is paid for our time, right? So yeah, and of course, if you got any questions, you could easily just email me and ask me any questions you have as far as like if I could help you or not. If you want me to go in depth on anything, it might actually take more than one call for me to be able to explain it, because there's a lot of details to a lot of this stuff, and some of it just isn't that simple to where I could just explain it in 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Some of this stuff is step-by-step stuff. It's kind of like it piles up on top of each other. So if you really want to get a true comprehension of everything as far as like what all I have to offer and what all I know, you're gonna probably expect that you're gonna have to get on more than one call, because typically the calls are between an hour and a half long. And there's only so much that I can cram into that short amount of time, because there's years and years of knowledge that I've been accumulating about these things. So of course, don't be afraid to ask about, you know, how to get on my calendar for more than one day or something like that. And when it comes to anything that has to do with spiritual life coaching, of course, I'm always here for that. That's the main purpose of my channel, of course. But I noticed that there's so many people who need a little bit more clarity on when it comes to like the status correction and the public-private stuff, and you know, setting up a trust and all the stuff that I just mentioned, that naturally I'm gonna be willing to help with that too, because of course we are just one big village community and we're supposed to be here supporting each other. So my email address, j.nyneproductions@gmail.com. Also, you can DM me on Instagram at j.nyne and the number 9. And my other email is youthfuladvisor@outlook.com. All of that stuff will be in the description. If you got any questions, let me know, man. Holler at me.